Thinking about my work and what I want to do in terms of this circular growth model has made all of the difference in how I feel about work. In that last video, I defined circular growth compared to linear growth and talked all about why it's so much more powerful of a way to think about your career and make decisions about your career. So go watch that if you haven't already. Circular growth is all about taking an action, reflecting on the outcome of that action, how you feel about it, what information you've learned, and then using that new information to determine your next action. And y'all asked for examples, so I got you. So let's say you start your job as an entry-level marketing coordinator and you get really good at messaging your customer pain points through your marketing messaging, and you make a great habit every week of reflecting on the tasks you have to do and which ones you find energizing, and you find that the days that you just feel the best, the most motivated, are days when you're doing discovery calls with clients and you're actually building some of those face-to-face relationships. You use this reflection about the things that you like and are energizing to you, and you decide you want to transition into a sales role. And then because you've got this unique marketing background, you're actually really good in that role because you know exactly how to communicate your company's unique value propositions. Or maybe you work as a project manager and you are the most organized, you're the most efficient on your team, you're constantly getting praised by everybody else on your team for this, and you also are a regular coach to other people on your team. You help train new project managers, you help everybody kind of learn best practices. Upon all your reflection of your work, you find that you actually really like this coaching. You're most energized on the days where you're working with other people to help them get better. And so because of that, you decide you want to start offering consulting services to startups to help them learn how to implement their standard operating procedures, and you leave that full-time corporate world. The circular growth model could also be less about your role or your skills and more about your work environment. Like, take me, for example. I started my career in professional services, first in accounting and then in recruiting. And I always really liked the camaraderie in professional services of working on a small team where everybody has the same job and has a shared goal. But I never liked the subject matter that I was in accounting or recruiting. Because I knew I didn't love what I was doing, I spent a ton of time reflecting and realized that I really wanted more creative project-based work. And as you guys know, I now work in marketing. So when I decide that I'm ready to make my next move, I may take this creative project-based work that I know I love to do and combine it with something that's kind of a smaller shared goal team environment. Maybe another professional services company because I know I enjoy that kind of structure. If I had started my first job in accounting and moved up linearly through that career track, I would be in a very different place than I am now and probably a lot less happy. The most important part of circular growth is reflecting on the work that you are doing and really listening to how it makes you feel, and then using that reflection to determine the move that you make next. And this process also lets you continue to use skills you've gained across multiple different roles that otherwise may seem disconnected, but because you've reflected and because you've made those moves intentionally, you end up being able to leverage all this experience that you already have.